Has Star Wars officially been made a part of the MCU? The season finale for Marvel's What If suggests that may be the case. Let's review all the details. For those who don't know, What If is a show about the Marvel Multiverse. As the intro explains, the Watcher, Watu, shows different branching realities from the one we've mostly been following in the MCU, where one major part of a story is changed for each episode. Episode 8 is all about what if Ultron had won, and eventually, spoiler alert for the final episode by the way, what if Ultron had managed to collect all of the Infinity Stones? So I'll include as little detail about this episode as I can, so that if you still want to watch it afterwards, there will be stuff for you to enjoy. But basically, Ultron sees it as his goal to wipe out all life in the universe. He's able to launch a nuclear holocaust on Earth, then he's confronted by Thanos, who he easily kills, then with the rest of the stones, he destroys the remainder of life in the universe without very much difficulty as it is. With his job complete, however, Ultron becomes aware of Watu and the existence of other universes. He's able to break through into the nexus of all realities and engages Watu in combat. And this is where we get the potential Star Wars reference. As he and Watu are fighting, they're crashing through the multiverse, briefly entering other dimensions and universes, and for a split second we see a location that looks very much like Mustafar, complete with even a version of Vader's castle. It doesn't just look like Mustafar because it's a lava planet either, by the way. It's got a very clear sort of river, just like in Revenge of the Sith. It's got the same type of little industrial outposts and mechanical bits as the movie, and just generally I think it's very clearly meant to be the planet. So what does this mean? Well, the multiverse is actually canon within the sort of grander Marvel universe that has been confirmed by the Marvel team, but you sort of have to ask what that means in terms of the multiverse. Even the intro itself says that Watu is guiding you to infinite other realities, so technically I guess anything could happen. Any media universe could be technically canon within the multiverse, although you then have to ask, is infinite truly infinite? Like, is literally anything possible, or is infinite being confined by some set of rules just with infinite choices? If it's the former, then yeah, of course Star Wars would be included, and so would everything else. The Wizard of Oz, the Trailer Park Boys, everything. When I think of a Marvel multiverse though, I tend to think of the latter. Basically, the starting position of the universe is pretty similar, all the basic rules and whatnot. What changes is the decision that was made. So could Star Wars technically be canon? I think it's possible, but I'm actually leaning more towards no. This seems to me to be more of a reference by the writer to Star Wars, as sort of wink and nod at fans, because that's ultimately the most they could do. We know that A.C. Bradley wanted to include elements from the Star Wars universe, and specifically wanted to include Luke Skywalker, but Marvel would not allow her to do so. So this is probably as close as she could get. And I think them not wanting to do so is probably for a reason. It's for a Marvel reason, but more importantly, it's for a Star Wars reason. Star Wars, I think, would be brought down by any sort of multiverse. I think it takes away from the magic a little bit, and it's definitely in their interest to avoid that, even when Marvel and Star Wars, of course, are both owned by the same parent company. It's not a universe that's really great with crossovers, in my opinion, at all. So that's sort of my brief take on this. We do also get, interestingly enough, a Star Wars reference, like a reference to the movies themselves within the episode. Hawkeye says the Death Star plans are not in the main computer. We also get reference to Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Terminator. Kind of interesting to think about whether the multiverse could have the movie existing as a fictional entity but also a real story at the same time. Technically though, I believe our reality is canon within the multiverse. We're Earth 1218, and technically the Star Wars movies start with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, which indicates that it's in our same reality. So I guess in that way, yeah, it's pretty much all the same. And I guess that also supposes the possibility of a universe existing both in fiction and in reality within the multiverse. Anyway, we don't want to go too far down into that topic because our brain will explode. I will say that this isn't the first time that Star Wars has had some connection to other multiverses, most famously, of course, in Into the Great Unknown, which was a non-canon Star Wars comic from Star Wars Tales. That has Han Solo crashing on Earth, dying, then his skeleton being discovered by Indiana Jones, which is a fun little story. But that's all I've got today about the multiverse and interconnections between universes. I do have time for one hashtag Ask That question though, because this is a bit of a shorter video. Today's question is kind of a fun one. It comes from Inspector Butters, like the name, who said, I rewatched Battle of the Dreadnoughts recently and noticed stormtroopers standing in front of one of the cannons. What's up with that? Well, there are, I believe, several scenes in Star Wars, but at least one where you can see space troopers, and this would be a reference to the scene where the Millennium Falcon is brought on to the Death Star, and you can see a bunch of stormtroopers standing in space next to some of the turbo lasers. You can see they actually do have specialized space gear, but I still imagine it's probably one of the most unpleasant jobs you can get, especially if you're in battle. I've always assumed that they're there to perform any emergency maintenance, to visually observe the guns to make sure they're working correctly, and whatever else. I think E.C. Henry probably just thought it was a fun callback, and on a ship as large as the Eclipse, why not? But guys, that's all I have for today. I've put a couple of extra lore videos up on my Clips channel, X Clips, which you can find. They're very interesting and well done, I think. Let me know what you think though. Until next time, guys, be safe, have a good one. May the Force be with you.